is where MAGA comes to talk. And we are in dark MAGA mode. I'm on my way to the radio station. And I'm running about 15 minutes late. I'll make it on time. I'm just going to have less time to set up once I get there. So much happened yesterday. And, you know, if you look at what President Trump did yesterday, just his schedule. He had his whole morning presidential schedule with the briefings and meetings with his staff and doing everything he has to do first thing in the morning so far as running America and the free world. And then he does a press conference in the Oval Office. Then he does the swearing in with Robert Kennedy. Then he meets with the Indian Prime Minister and has a sit-down photo op that turns into a press conference. Then he does a full-length press conference with the Prime Minister of India later in the day. And I mean, I don't know how this guy does it. I don't know how he does it. He is a superhuman person. He is not a mortal man, because he's a lot older than me, and I can't keep up with him. I really can't. It's non-stop. He's planning on doing in 4 years what he would like to have done in 8 or maybe even 12. And things are moving so fast. So fast. But he's got some schedule. But one thing I was wondering, and I'll throw this out to you guys, because there was an incident in the Oval Office yesterday with Caitlin Collins from CNN. You know, Caitlin Collins is a very entitled, inappropriate person. And she's kind of like the Veruca Salt of the White House press corps. Very spoiled, very entitled. And I imagine she's the child of parents that spoiled her so much and told her that everything she did was brilliant, because she's just not in control. And she repeatedly just burst out and interrupts the president in the Oval Office. And yesterday, he snapped back at her pretty hard. I didn't call on you to speak and all this, because in the Oval Office, it's not like the press briefing room. It's an exclusive thing. So it has leaked out of the White House that President Trump is actually planning on banning Caitlin Collins. Now, I don't know if that means from the White House press briefing room or just these Oval Office and special events. But do you think he would do that? You know, she's trying to turn herself into Jim Acosta, and if you've seen Jim Acosta lately, Caitlin Collins, that didn't work out too well for Jim Acosta. She's trying to make a name of herself for herself as the official opposition to Trump. And this is one thing that Trump's doing in this second term that he didn't do in the first term. He's really cutting the press out. He's putting the press in their place. You know, when President Trump was a businessman and hosted The Apprentice, you know, in a way, he's partnered with the press to promote his businesses, promote his ventures, promote his television show. So when he became president, well, really when he was running the first time, but mostly when he became president in the first term, he spent a lot of time debating with members of the press, getting in conflicts with the members of the press, and maybe even trying to sell what he was doing to them. And he doesn't do that anymore. He's put them in their proper place. And he's the president of the United States, and he'll always have that. And the press, they think they're his equal, that they are, you know, they call themselves the fourth estate and all this crap, and they you know, which is right out of the French Revolution, and they think that they are the White House press corps actually think that they are American heroes whose mission in life is to... This is what they think of themselves. I'm not saying this is true. They think they're American heroes whose mission in life is to preserve democracy by holding our public officials and presidents accountable. They actually believe that. They're narcissists. They think they're his equal, maybe even his superior, because well, he's not part of the club, because he's not an establishment guy, President Trump, but they're there long after the presidents are. They're there for president to president, and that's just not the case. Not only are they not his equal, they're nowhere near it, and I must tell you, the Washington Press Corps have the morality of... I would say they're the moral equivalent of a used car salesman that works at some light bulb lot where you buy the car as is and then it breaks down on the way home kind of car lot. You know what I mean? That's what the press are. They're sleaze. They've got the morality of sex workers. They're really the lowest of the low. So, do you think that he will ban Caitlin Collins from these Oval Office press events in the future? I hope he does. It's all about her. Oh, it's all about me. My mommy and daddy told me I'm so good. And, of course, everything's about Caitlin Collins. The whole world revolves around her, and Caitlin Collins knows that the world revolves around her because when she's outside during the daytime and she looks up, she sees the sun right over her head. So, of course, everything revolves around Caitlin Collins. But she needs to be put in her place by the president. He did a good job yesterday. Let's see if she... And, you know, when he snapped back at Caitlin Collins, the other members of the media laughed at her. Now, she's such a self-centered narcissist. She may not have even realized that and tuned that out. I mean, look, he humiliated her in that CNN town hall during the campaign. And after that, I mean, that was just an embarrassment on her part. And look what happened. She got promoted to a big time, primetime slot after that. So if you're new, my name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'm heading to the radio station today. And I've been up. Today I slept in a little bit. I got up at 2. And I've got a busy, busy day. I've been doing show prep for hours. And I'm going to lead, and you can see because I have the live stream already set up. I'm going to lead with this story with AOC telling illegals how to obstruct justice and resist police when ICE comes. And then Tom Homan was on Laura Ingraham last night, and he's talked to a deputy AG looking into that. And there's a serious thing going on here with that. You know, the Democrats who think they can obstruct justice and instruct, what she's doing is instructing fugitives from justice, these are the illegal aliens, the migrants, on how to evade federal agents that have been sent by the President of the United States to enforce our border security, which is an invasion of the United States by criminals. If that is not interrupting government business, I don't know what is. And they told us after January 6th that interrupting government business is an insurrection. So she is inspiring an insurrection among federal fugitives to resist federal agents. And if that's not criminal, I don't know what is. You know, so that's what I'm going to lead with on the radio today. But a lot of other things have happened, and today is Friday already. It's open phones, open MAGA Mike Friday, so you can call in about any and everything on your mind on Friday's show. The show prep's up to you guys in the audience on Friday, but that's what I'm going to lead with. But I got a busy day. I had show prep. I had to record a bunch of commercials for the radio station before I left my house. So I recorded a bunch of commercials for the radio station before I left my house today. So then I'm gonna be on the air from 6 till 9. And then after the show, I've got a recording session with Jupiter Joe Thomas, and I are going to record some commercials together after the show. Then I got a doctor's appointment. Then I have a brief meeting with one of our sponsors. And then this afternoon at 1 or 1:30 in the afternoon, I have a longer meeting with another sponsor. We're going to go over ad copy and stuff and write some ad copy together at their business location, which is over an hour away, over an hour south of the radio station, but not too far from my house. And then I don't know. Then I don't know. I might be by the time that's done, it'll be about 3 in the afternoon. I will have been up 14 hours. I may record and upload a podcast after that. I don't know. Maybe I won't do the podcast today. Maybe I'll instead of a podcast, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know if I'll have the energy by the time I'm done with the day to record, edit, and upload a podcast. But I got a busy day today. And what I'm actually doing, which I've never done before, I've got my, I'll show you this camera. This is a great vlogging camera. It's called the Canon PowerShoot V10. And a listener sent me this camera a few months ago as a gift, brand new in the box. So whoever you are, thank you if you're watching, because they didn't leave their name in the package. But I'm making a vlog today, kind of a day in your life vlog, which I've never done. I started it when I got out of the shower, and just kind of going through my day today. But if I don't get a podcast uploaded today, I will tomorrow. The problem, it's not the long day, it's my voice, because I had to record about five or six commercials this morning before I left for the radio station for a new sponsor that's coming on. Then I got to do the show, and then I've got this recording session after, and then these meetings. I don't know if my voice will be up to it. A lot when one thing that surprises a lot. Sometimes people think I'm a what did Anderson Cooper call the guy on CNN the other day? Sometimes people think I'm just being a dick because of this, but if Anderson Cooper could say being a dick on CNN, I guess I could say it on this live stream. But a lot of times when I'm not on the air and I'm not streaming on YouTube, I don't talk that much. And people think I'm just being a dick sometimes. They do. But it's because I gotta rest my throat. Gotta rest my voice sometimes. So sometimes I'm very short. That's why sometimes when I'm on the air during the breaks, I don't talk during a lot of the breaks. Even now, because I've been doing so much this week, my jaws right here are tired. They're like a little sore and tired. I probably should not be streaming now because of that, but I am, because kind of on this long drive to the radio station. It keeps me company. You guys are keeping me company, and it does wake my voice up a little bit to be on the air at 6. And clears my head a little bit. Yeah, I am running about 15 minutes behind schedule, but I think I'll make it. Now I'm going to Starbucks, and this Starbucks, I always order 2 coffees, right? One black, one with extra cream, and I order one for today and one for tomorrow because I like to have that coffee first thing in the morning when I wake up on the weekends. But because of my schedule today, I'm only going to order 1 coffee. And typically, let's see, it depends if they have someone new. The last, 3 times I ordered 1 coffee, they still gave me 2 because they could see you at the Starbucks drive-thru. They have a camera, they can see you, and they see me pull up, and I order the same thing every day. They don't even listen to me give the order. They just put it in as soon as they see the car. So let's see. If they have someone new, they'll usually get it right. But if they give me 2 coffees, they give me 2 coffees. It won't go to waste. I just didn't want to drive around with it all day. I was going to get it at the end of the day for tomorrow morning, because they don't open up till 5:30 on Saturdays, and I wake up at 3 or 4 even on Saturday and Sunday. Also, another thing I'm going to share on the radio today. You guys getting the preview of all of my my show prep today. The one of the other things I'm going to bring up, there was a big fake news story, and I didn't bring this up yesterday. We didn't have. I knew the story was complete bullshit. Okay, but I didn't bring it up because we didn't have any We didn't have a. I knew there was going to be a follow-up later in the day. There was a fake news story smearing Elon yesterday, and I didn't bring it up. I was waiting for a liberal caller to bring it up, and surprisingly, no one that got on the air yesterday did, but a lot of people called in that we ran out of time, didn't make it on the air, so I don't know. But there was a fake news story that Elon Musk got this $400 million order of armored Cybertrucks from the Trump administration. Did you see this? In fact, it was the lead story yesterday in the Daily Mail, but it was all over the place. And I knew the story was BS. There's no way. First off, why would an armored Cybertruck for the government is so stupid? I mean, President Trump's not going to pay for armored electric vehicles. That's so stupid. He spent so much time talking about the tanks. So even if Doge and Elon Musk weren't working for him, it doesn't make any sense. And Elon's too stupid for that. And I knew the story was fake because they were, as he's exposing government corruption, why would he do something that looked that could look like it was corrupt? So I knew it was BS, but I didn't know the full story yet because it hadn't been, exposed yet. But what a story came out that I have that's an update on it. This is a holdover. It's still a fake story completely, but it's a misrepresentation of something Biden was doing. The Biden administration was asking EV car companies to submit proposals for some type of armored EVs for the Biden administration, and somebody wrote down on a list about the Cybertrucks. The story was totally fake, totally manufactured, just a complete slanderous lie, and no one corrected it. No retractions, no corrections, nothing. Even the story that tells that what really happened is written so poorly, it's hard to even understand the story. It's written so poorly. These writers just are like illiterate. Of course. So I'll get into that a little bit too. These people are out of their minds. Because I'm running 15, running 15 minutes behind schedule, but I always arrive early, so I have time to set up. So I'm going to have less setup time, and I was going to take an alternate route, a shortcut, and I'm glad I didn't, because I'm making really good time, you know. And my wife and daughter call my shortcuts long cuts, because all my shortcuts take longer than if I would have taken the right way. What the fuck? I'm sorry about that language. Some guy just parked his car. What unbelievable, what a weirdo. Holy crap. This guy, I don't know what is going on there, but I want nothing to do with this guy. He just came across the intersection in a truck. As soon as he got across the intersection, he parked his car, he jumped out and started running across the road, right here towards me. And then when I got through the intersection, he ran behind me across the road. What the? Scared the daylights out of me. Oh my goodness. Yes, I used the F word. I mean, he was running right here. I don't know what his deal is. I don't know. There's crazy people on the roads at these hours. A lot of crazy people on the roads at these hours. Nothing good happens after midnight, you know. Because I talk about this a lot because I've driven these early hours my whole life. There are two types of people on the road. People that go to work early like me. Truck drivers who have already been at work that are driving their trucks, like this dump truck in front of me with a load. And people coming home from the 5 a.m. bars. And the reason I take, because I could take I-95 or the turnpike, you know, I could take the freeway, the highway, the turnpike. And the reason I take the, kind of like the side streets, I don't want to exactly the way I go. I don't take the freeway or the turnpike is because, look at this guy. See what I mean? That motorcycle, he's going like 90 miles an hour on the road here at 5:14 in the morning. The reason I don't take the freeway, which would save me some time, or the turnpike, which would save me time, is because there's so many accidents on those roads in the mornings. I mean, really bad ones. Because I believe it's people, because I can see, because the drunks on the road, it's the club kids either driving home from Miami's clubs or going back to Miami that are up here. Well, this motorcyclist that's driving like 80 miles an hour, he got stopped by the light. Now he's doing a wheelie. What a just a jerk. He's got a GoPro. He did a wheelie right as the light turned green. He saw me streaming in the car. He's got a GoPro attached to the front of his helmet. So he's making a stunt video. He thinks he's Evel Knievel. Well, Evel Knievel broke every damn bone in his body. And that guy is no Evel Knievel. What a jerk. Everyone thinks they're Evel Knievel. He's got probably a YouTube or a TikTok channel or something with his GoPro attached to his helmet. You don't see me with a GoPro attached to my helmet on my MAGA scooter on my Vespa. I know a lot of people do that. I don't do any filming while I'm riding. It's distracting. That's what I mean about these hours of the morning. That guy running out in the street, this guy, it's craziness. Before I was married, I lived in Fort Lauderdale near the beach. And there's all kinds of weirdos by the beach. And the radio station I was working at then was in Fort Lauderdale in really crack town. I mean, it was in a really bad drug-infested neighborhood, and the stuff I would see, the couple craziest things that happened. I went to get gas. I went inside the gas station to pay. That's how long ago it was. We didn't have the, Apple Pays and all that stuff at that thing. You couldn't pay with the debit at the pump. You had to go in. And I walked in, and it was being robbed by a guy with a knife. I couldn't believe it. And he ran out the doors right after I walked in. All right, I'm gonna keep the stream going, but you may lose the stream briefly and have to refresh when I pay. I'll finish that when I'll finish the rest of the story after I go down. Let's see. Hopefully they'll just give me the one. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they don't. We'll find out. Hi, Americano with extra cream.
Okay.
And that's it.
All right, I'll see you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think this guy will get it straight. This guy's going to get it right because he didn't ask any questions. Let me make sure I got enough money on my Apple Card. Now you may. All right, we're back. That may have taken a little longer than normal. All right. Okay. Did everyone behave when I wasn't looking at the chat? You never know. Yeah, you might have to refresh. So if you could tell people to refresh. So what was I telling you guys? Oh yeah, so I go into this gas station on my way to the radio station. It's being robbed. And the guy, he had a knife. He runs out of the gas station. I remember he was wearing a wife beater. But luckily, the gas station had a door on each side of it, and he ran out of the opposite door that I just came in at. It was crazy. And the gas station attendant jumped after the guy ran out of the gas station attendant jumped over the counter, and he had I can't remember what it was, a metal bar or a bat or something. And he ran after the guy. And then he came back a couple of minutes later. It seemed like a long time. It may have been 30, who knows. And the guy had stuck the tires and flattened the tires at the gas pumps, but he did it on the other side of the gas station than the one I was parked on, thankfully so. And it was crazy. So then that happens. So then I go to work, and I'm on the radio. And I'm telling the story on the radio that I was just at this gas station that got robbed. And the gas station attendant was listening. And he called me on the air. And at first I didn't think it was him. And then I asked him a couple of questions that, you'd had to be there to know. And I was in shock. So he's like, oh, Brian, I can't believe you were in there being, during the robbery. But it was pretty funny. That was nuts. Yeah, these are crazy, crazy things in the morning that happen. Nothing good happens. Yes, make sure you subscribe. Hey, I know. Then one of the other there was I've had a lot of things happen on my way in to work. I was at this was also in Fort Lauderdale. I was in my car. This was before I was married. This was a long time ago. I was in my car, and I'm at a light like I'm at now, and I had a very old car. I had a '69 VW Bug, and I had the windows down because it didn't have any air conditioning or anything. And I had the windows down. This car pulls up next to me, and it's a guy, and he's got his window down, and I'm like, oh, and he was staring at me, and he was looking at me, and then he says to me. He says, I'm going to use some crude language. He says, do you want a blowjob? He says to me. I was a little caught off guard. I said, no, thank you. And the light turned green. And then I got on I-95. That was nuts. Then what are some of the other things that... and I remember I told the story on the air. And then the guy that did the show after me, the guy that came on the air after me, he says, wow, Brian, your drives into work are much more, he says, nobody's offering me blowjobs on the way to the radio station in the morning, you know, and then, and then a while back, this was much more recent, I was at a gas station, getting gas like I shouldn't do early in the morning, and gas stations can get pretty sketchy, at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And this haggard prostitute, you could tell, she comes up to me at the gas pump. She asks if she can use my phone. She could borrow my cell phone, which of course I said no, I don't, and because she was going to take my phone and run probably. And then she says, do you want a date? Which I guess that's code for, do you want to hire her? And I was live streaming on Periscope back then. So this was much more recent. And I said no, and she walked away and went and talked to another man. I don't know if he loaned his phone or wanted to have a date. I don't know how that turned out. But after she walked away, I got in the car. I started the Periscope stream and started talking about what had happened. And when I was driving out of the gas station, I saw her, and it was completely black because it was very dark and there weren't a lot of lights. She was standing on the street at the exit of the gas station. And I showed her on the Periscope stream, and I said, "This is the woman, that just wanted to, borrow my phone and offered to sell sex to me." And it was crazy. And then I get to the radio station. I go on the air, and I tell the story on the air of what happened. And Liberal Al calls in, Al the John. Liberal Al calls in. And he told me, now again, remember, it was completely black. You couldn't see where I was. I didn't show any street signs. You couldn't really even see much of anything because it was so dark and black. You could see her a little bit, barely. He knew exactly where I was. He called me on the air and he said, "Oh, you were at such and such place." And we had a whole conversation. He knew, and we had this conversation on the air. He knew where I was, not based on any landmarks, because you couldn't see anything. He knew where I was because I guess I was at this hooker's standard place that she stands to solicit Johns. He knew where I was based on the hooker. That the hooker was his landmark. That was... I've had a bunch of stuff like that happen, but those, crazy stuff happened on the way in. But that was pretty funny. Oh my goodness. Think when I didn't live in such a nice neighborhood, it was more dangerous and adventurous. But every once in a while, there's a 5 a.m. bar not too far. That's right. That's why that's the when I ran into Nicholas Cruz, the Parkland shooter, before the shooting, that was on my way to the radio station. I had that encounter with Nicholas Cruz, who shot up Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. I mean, it's just nuts what happens. So nothing good happens after midnight. That is so true. Take a quick look at the chat, then I'll get back on the news. From the Philippines, welcome. I know, it's crazy adventures. Crazy adventures. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. I could tell you stories all day that I've had on the way to the radio station early in the morning. Pretty nuts. But anyway, what I'm going to lead with on the show at 6. Yeah, I am running way late. I would like to be getting to the radio station right now. But I'll probably have about 10 minutes to set up, so that should about make it if there's no technical problems. I always set up, if I can, 20 to 30 minutes. 20 is even cutting it close. I like to set up about 30 minutes before I go on the air in case there's any technical problems, you know, so you have time to resolve it. I'm cutting it close. But what I'm going to open up today is this story with, I started talking about this, then I got sidetracked, was Tom Homan and AOC. So AOC released a video on Instagram telling federal fugitives, the illegals, how to obstruct ICE agents, which is, I think it's a crime. I mean, if I did, now I want you to, think about this. She's telling, you know, the illegal aliens that are being arrested by ICE right now, most of them are like the hardcore felon criminals, right? Murderers. They got a hitman yesterday. You know, people like that. If she's telling them how to evade and obstruct the federal agents, is that not, in the very least, obstruction of justice? Like, as an example, and Tom Homan went on Laura Ingraham and talked about, he had a discussion with the Deputy Attorney General about that. Is she committing a crime? I give you an example. If I went on the air today, okay, and told someone how to, if they've stolen a car or an armored truck. I'll use an armored truck from a bank robbery because, you know, like a bank robbery, because that's a federal crime. So they're after, you know, if I went on the radio today and instructed bank robbers how to evade being caught, actual bank robbers, not in a hypothetical, because AOC is actually telling illegals that are current fugitives from federal justice that are being sought by federal agents as we speak how to evade capture. If I went on the air and started telling bank robbers that were on the run, that the feds were after and looking for, how to evade capture on the radio, don't you think I'd probably get in some trouble for that? I would probably be arrested. They probably have the FCC after me. You know, I mean, I'm talking about like not in a hypothetical. I mean, like real people. Yeah, of course. And it really, you know, what she did and is doing, and she's not alone in this, but she's very high profile. That is got to be a crime. So that's what I'm going to open with today, and I'll play what she did and said, and then I'll play Homan from Laura last night and talk about it. I got a lot of things to talk about, but that's what I'm going to lead with, because I really don't think she's so stupid. She did a response making fun of the way Tom Homan speaks, which I'm not even going to, it was a tweet. I'm probably not even going to read that, but I'll reference it when I'm talking about it. She doesn't understand what she's doing. And ignorance of the law is no excuse in breaking the law. Aiding and abetting, yeah. It's got to be. It's got to be. Now, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. But, of course, today is Friday. Open phones, open Mega Mike Friday. You can call in about any and everything on your mind on Friday's program. You know, I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, I'm doing something I've never done before. I'm making a kind of a day in the life vlog of what my average day is. Although I don't think I'm going to get a podcast. I may get a podcast in today. We'll see. And I'll show this on the vlog. Do you know, for me to get into the radio station, there are 3 combination door locks on the building before you can get into the studio. 3 combination locks. You'll see when I put the vlog up. They have me pretty secure. I know, it's nuts. But, you know, these liberals. You know, and I had a really nasty confrontation with a listener who hates me at our inauguration day event. And I got another appearance that I'm doing in Boca in a couple weeks. I think I might start promoting that today, if not today, Monday. And I'm going to need some. I've never had to do this before. This is a at this level. This is a new thing. This is security. I'm going to need some type of security at this appearance because of this confrontation I had. And you know, I had I mentioned this a few times on the air. I had some liberals follow me on the cruise that were not a part of our group that went on the cruise ship that we did our cruise on last year, and really harassed me a lot on the cruise. And so this year on the cruise, because we leave March 30th for a week, I've already had the discussions, but as soon as I get to the ship, Ian, our travel agent from Cruise and Travel Depot, and a representative from the cruise line and I were meeting with the head of security on the cruise ship. And I mean, I don't like, you know, having security at things, because I know a lot of people in my line of work have security, and I always kind of thought it was ego on their part. And I had that incident on the cruise and then this thing at Wings Plus, so I got to have security now when I do these things. So the security on the cruise ship, it's Israeli security agents. These guys don't mess around. And so I'm meeting with the head of security so I could meet him and his security people when I get on board, and they're putting together a security thing. And I told Ian, I said, I feel like weird in having it. But I was talking to the owner of the radio station about it, and he said the show's getting bigger, and you're getting more weirdos. You know, so when you have more weirdos, there's more incident, trolls. There's a higher chance of having problems like I've had. And I've had a few problems. I've always had problems over the years, but I've had more over the last year than I would normally have. I've always had problems, but having more now than I would normally have. All right, I'm just pulling up to the radio station, so I'm going to end the stream, but the next stream is already up there. It'll start in about 20 minutes or so. So if you go over there, you can already participate in the chat because it's got a chat room there. But if you're new, they were liberals. I mean, and nasty. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, all right? My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you in just a few minutes on the next stream. Take care.